Now we are discussing about file transfer operation using the file transfer protocol. We already discussed how to send the short messages in the form of the email. By using the email, we can transfer the information, but there is some limit is there. Example, if you take the Gmail, at a time you can send 25 MB file. More than 25 MB means they are expecting to upload to the drive. If you want to send 1 GB or 2 GB files multiple times, maybe 10 or 20 messages, Gmail will not allow you, saying that your storage capacity reached out. But by using the file transfer protocol, we can send file, even a 2 GB file also we can send from one system to the another system. We can retrieve the file from the one system, we can download the file from the one system, and we can upload the file to the one system. For our convenience, we are calling those two systems, one system as the client, the person who is requesting the information, and one system as the server, the system in which we have stored the data and we are asking to download the data. So you can upload the data to this server from the client, or you can download the data from this server by using the client. So this can be done by using the file transfer protocol. So why we require file transfer protocol? Can't we download directly or can't we upload directly? Already we have TCP/IP protocol, transmission control protocol. It gives the chance for us to connect to the internet. So there is a router here, there is a router here. You can connect this computer network to another computer network. The packets transmission can be done. So what is the problem here? We can easily transmit the data why we require particularly a file transfer protocol. The requirement comes, this system may operate with a different hardware settings. This system may operate with a different hardware settings, which the router does not need to understand, or which even the TCP does not need to understand. And this system may operate with the different OS, and this system may operate with the different OS. Router don't need this information, and TCP don't need this information. This system, if we are sending a PDF file, this system might not have Adobe Reader to access that file. But this system may have Google Chrome. That same PDF file can, even though you do not have the Adobe Reader, that same PDF file can be viewed by using the Google Chrome. So the compatibility can be done by using the file transfer protocol. Even though these two systems' data is looking like incompatible because of their operating systems and hardware settings, our file transfer protocol will take care of the data that is being asked from the server. We have downloaded from the server. For the data downloading, definitely we require the transmission control protocol. But during the downloading of this data, we are making the using of the file transfer protocol. Thus, that data must be readable by using our client. Similarly, whenever we are sending the data, a question arises in the server. What is this data? Whether this is a text or image or video, what is this format? The file format you are sending is not there with me. So FTP will take control about this. When you are sending through the internet, whenever it is required, it will try to adapt that format, and it will make the server to understand what actually client is asking, and it will make the client to understand what actually the server is sending. Now we will discuss some aspects of the file transfer protocol. So here definitely we require TCP because it will not run without the internet. One computer to another computer, you can upload the data or you can download the data also. The data file, you can even 2 GB data also you can upload and download. simultaneously you cannot receive from a single server, multiple receivers cannot receive the information, and simultaneously you cannot upload from the multiple clients to the server. This is one disadvantage of the FTP. But at a time when we are sending a 2 GB file also, we can upload in the server, FTP server, and we can even download from the FTP server even a large big file of 2 GB. When we are performing the file transfer operation, mainly two steps to be done. Here we are expecting the necessary authorization. Everyone cannot upload the data to the server and everyone cannot download the data from the server. We require a necessary authorization. It looks like very safe communication, but there is a drawback. That authorization details we are plainly sending in the text format. That those details should be encrypted, but those details will be sent in the control line by using a simple text, whatever the English text we are sending, the binary equivalent of that English text without encryption we are sending. So this is not a secure communication, so that's the drawback of that. We will discuss about that also. Second one is client server hardware and operating system. It will check for the compatibility. After it checks the compatibility, if it is capable of transferring the file, then only the file from this one format can be, if that is the operating system in the server end, if that is readable by the server, it can be uploaded to the server. Otherwise, if it is not possible by the FTP, it may drop that at that moment. These 2 points we have to remember. Now how the process starts. So user computer tries to establish a connection with the remote server, that is a FTP server. Now here, for that we are using a TCP, Transmission Control Protocol. We are sending some control information. Here we are not sending the data and control information in the single line. This is the advantage of the FTP. We have provided a dedicated line for the control information and we have provided a dedicated line for the data. These two we are not mixing. So first we will, before the establishing of the connection, we are sending some control information. This control information, we are sending a 4-character information we are sending. It is a request. So example, when we are sending the user identification information, if the user identification information is correct, then he can download the information. And similarly, when we send the password, if that password is correct, the user can download the information. You can even change the password by using the control line. So here we are accessing at that time, when we are trying to send the control information, we are accessing port number 21 in the server. Similarly, some 4-character requests we mentioned. Quit means we are saying stop this connection. So this is a connection oriented, definitely. Because it is a TCP we are using, it is a connection oriented protocol. Between the client and server, we are establishing a connection. It is when it is a connection oriented protocol, it is a reliable one. So definitely data will be delivered, because that is the advantage of the TCP we already discussed. And when we are using the command ABOR in the control line from the client to server, it is requesting to about the previous command. And when we are particularly saying delete, we are asking to delete a particular file in a particular directory. To change the directory, we can use the cd command and we can give from this directory delete that file. And list, you want to see different files in the directory, then you can see the files. And you can download the files from the directory, from the server to the client. And you can upload the files from the server to the client. If you if you have sent a command called STOR, then response will come saying that I am expecting a data which will be uploaded in the server. If you have sent a RETR, Then if you are sending a particular directory address, server, whatever the file is there in that particular directory, that file information will be downloaded and in the form of the packets it will be sent to the client, because we are discussing in the network layer. But when it comes to when we are particularly discussing about the FTP, we are discussing in the higher layer level, application layer level. When we are coming down to the data transmission, at that time this data is being transmitted in the form of the packets. Then we are discussing at the network layer level of the OSI model. Now here, after the control request is sent to the server, if the server is not busy, if no other client is requesting the same file information, then the server sends the response. At that time, it starts sending the data. After it starts sending the data, this data will be received by the client. Now during this data process, before establishing the communication, we use the three-way handshake process. It will send for the data purpose, it will send the starting sequence information and it will acknowledge that, and it will send its own starting sequence number and it will acknowledge that, and finally data connection will be established. Because we are calling sequence numbers, we are sending. Why? Because we are using the TCP connection. In the UDP, there is no sequence numbers. There are no sequence numbers. There is no acknowledgement also in the UDP. So three-way handshake, by using the three-way handshake, we are establishing the data connection. Even though the control information was sent, even though the client gave the information with the 4-character word, the server gave the green signal for the sending the information. But now they have to understand what is the sequence, what is the starting packet number, what is the ending packet number. For that again, before the data communication starts, a three-way handshake process, whatever we discussed, that should be established. Then only it can understand, even though the packets are sent in different routes, the connection is one, it is a virtual connection. But the packets are sent in different routes. Finally, the packets will be reached to the clients from the different routes. They might not be in the same order. In order to reorder it, the sequence number plays a crucial role. Next here we are discussing for this data transfer. Here we are particularly using the port number 20. For the control response, we already discussed, we are using the port number 21. We already discussed in the previous classes, port we use particularly to identify a particular application on a system. In a particular system, we have 100 applications, means each application will have one port number. And how to give this port number also we have discussed. What is the advantage of this FTP communication speed? Very fastly we can send the data. What is the disadvantage? Security. The information we are sending through the wires, it is simply we are sending in the form of the passwords, also we are sending in the form of the text, equivalent of text. The packets we can easily hack. And simultaneously we cannot receive the information from the multiple receivers. This is for FTP. But we mentioned it is not secure. In later versions of the FTP, SFTP and FTPS, they introduced the additional security, secure file transfer protocol and file transfer protocol security. These protocols, they work in the similar lines of the FTP, but they are making sure that the data is not capable to be understood by the third party persons. They are making it as an encrypted data. Again, they are decrypting. So here some security features are added. And later, even in the file transfer protocol also, they have introduced the UDP mechanism. When they introduced the UDP mechanism, we are not using the TCP, because when we are using UDP, user datagram protocol, means we are not using the TCP, then this is a connection less protocol. At that time, there is no connection required between the client and the server. And that also they made the secure protocol. At that time also file transfer is happening securely only. But the problem with the UDP is the data might not be received very accurately. There is no sequence numbers. There are no sequence numbers. There is no three-way handshake. There is no acknowledgement. That is the drawback with the usage of the UDP. These are the different versions how we can use the FTP. We only discussed about the FTP, but there are other protocols related to FTP, SFTP and FTPS, and other many protocols came related to the file transfer protocol. But as a glimpse we can say, file transfer protocol is very much important when two devices want to establish communication for sending a large amount of files, which we cannot do by using a simple email.